The research station on Cathara 7 hummed with its usual morning rhythm when Lara Venn realized her thermal gloves were missing. She stood in the equipment locker, staring at the empty hook where the reinforced fabric should have been hanging. Those weren't ordinary gloves. They were rated for sub-zero temperatures and lined with sensor threads that allowed her to operate touchscreens in the brutal Catharan cold. "Computer, security footage, equipment locker, last 12 hours, she said, frowning. The holographic display flickered to life, and Lara watched herself leave the locker the previous evening. Everything seemed normal until approximately 0300 hours, when a small, furred figure slipped through the partially opened door. The creature moved with the fluid grace of a natural predator, its 6 legs carrying it silently across the floor. It paused at her locker, rose on its hind legs, and snatched the gloves with surprising dexterity before vanishing back into the shadows. Lara groaned. "Rirak!" The Catharan cubs had been a constant source of chaos since their pack had established a den near the research station 3 months ago. The adult Catharans, apex predators standing nearly 3 meters tall with retractable claws and bioluminescent markings, had proven surprisingly tolerant of human presence. Their intelligence rivaled that of Earth's dolphins, and initial contact protocols had gone smoother than anyone had anticipated. The cubs, however, were another matter entirely. Lara grabbed her backup gloves and headed outside. The Catharan morning was a symphony of violet and crimson as the binary suns crested the horizon, casting long shadows across the crystalline ice fields. Her breath formed clouds in the frigid air as she trudged toward the rocky outcropping where the pack made their home. She found the cubs in their usual play area, a sheltered depression surrounded by ice formations that glittered like diamonds. There were 5 of them today, tumbling over each other in a furry mass of mock combat and play. And there, in the middle of the chaos, were her gloves. Rirak, easily identifiable by the distinctive scarring pattern on his left ear, had claimed one glove as his prize. He shook it violently, growling in the high-pitched way cubs do, while 2 of his siblings attempted to wrestle it away from him. The other glove had been torn in half, with each piece currently being used in an elaborate game of keep-away. "Rirak!" Lara called out, her voice firm but not threatening. The cub's head snapped up, his 3 pairs of eyes focusing on her with unsettling intensity. For a moment she wondered if she'd made a mistake. These were predators, after all, even if they were young. The largest cub already weighed more than she did, but Rirak's aggressive posture melted into something that looked almost sheepish. He dropped the glove and padded toward her, making the soft, chirping sound that Catharans used for friendly greetings. The other cubs followed, abandoning their games to investigate the human visitor. Lara knelt down, bringing herself closer to their level. "You can't keep taking my things, buddy. I need those to work." Rirak tilted his head, studying her with alien curiosity. His bioluminescent markings pulsed in a pattern she'd learned to associate with confusion or interest. The cub reached out with one paw, claws carefully retracted, and touched her face with surprising gentleness. It was in moments like these that Lara understood why the galaxy's other species found humans so baffling. The Galactic Assembly had warned Earth that Cathara 7th was off-limits. The Catharans were classified as extreme danger predators, with bite forces that could shear through starship hull plating. Most species gave them a wide berth, but humans? Humans saw cubs playing and thought, how cute. "Lara Venn." The voice came from behind her, deep and resonant with harmonic overtones that human vocal cords couldn't reproduce. She turned to see Matriarch Thesara, Rirak's mother, emerging from the den entrance. The massive Catharan moved with lethal grace, her adult form a reminder of just how dangerous these creatures could be. Lara stood, offering the respectful gesture she'd learned, palm open, fingers spread, held at chest height. "Matriarch, your son has been borrowing my equipment again." Thesara's eyes, all 6 of them, focused on the scattered remains of the gloves. Her markings flashed in a pattern Lara had learned meant amusement. Cubs learn through play. He sees you use these extensions of your skin. He wishes to understand why weak, furless things need such protections. The translation came through Lara's neural implant, but something in the matriarch's tone suggested she wasn't being insulting, just stating observable facts. Humans were weak compared to Catharans. They were small, slow, and couldn't survive Cathara 7's climate without technological assistance. "We're adaptable," Lara said, smiling. "What we lack in claws and fur, we make up for in creativity." "This is what confuses us about your kind," Thesara replied, lowering herself to a resting position. "The Assembly fears us. They send automated probes and long-range scanners. But humans? Humans build a research station within howling distance of our den. You walk among our cubs without weapons. You create artificial pelts and call it creativity." Lara glanced at Rirak, who had retrieved the intact glove and was now trying to wear it on his own paw. "Maybe that's because we recognize something. Your cubs play fight to learn hunting. Human children do the same. We call it sports. You protect your young fiercely. So do we. You're curious about new things. So are we. You see kinship where others see only teeth and claws," Thesara observed. "We have a saying on Earth. The best way to make a friend is to be one." Lara walked over to Rirak and gently removed the glove from his paw. The cub chirped in protest but didn't resist. She pulled a small ball from her pocket, a toy she'd fabricated specifically for this purpose, and tossed it across the play area. Rirak's eyes went wide. He launched himself after the ball with explosive speed, his siblings joining the chase immediately. Within seconds, all 5 cubs were engaged in a new game, the gloves forgotten. Thesara's markings pulsed in what Lara had learned to recognize as laughter. Clever. Small one. Like I said, adaptable. Lara collected her damaged gloves, knowing she'd have to fabricate new ones. "I'll bring more toys tomorrow." "Better they play with things I make for them than things I need to survive." "The Assembly thinks we will eat you eventually," Thesara said, as Lara prepared to leave. Lara paused, turning back to meet the matriarch's multi-eyed gaze. "Will you?" "No." The answer was immediate and certain. "You are pack friend now. Rirak has claimed you. To harm you would be to harm family." As Lara walked back to the research station, she couldn't help but smile. The other species of the Galactic Assembly would never understand. They calculated risks and maintained safe distances. They saw Catharans as monsters to be feared and avoided. But humans? Humans saw a cub playing with stolen gloves and thought about bringing toys tomorrow. That was humanity's real strength. Not their technology or their adaptability, but their unlimited capacity to find common ground with the most unlikely of beings, to see potential friends where others saw only predators. Behind her, she heard Rirak's triumphant chirp as he won the contest for the ball. Lara laughed, the sound carrying across the ice fields. The galaxy would learn eventually. Humans didn't conquer through force or fear. They conquered through something far more powerful: connection. And it all started with something as simple as a cub and a pair of gloves.